Okay, hello.
Hello.
I'm Danielle Jasper. I'm one of the community managers, and I primarily work with one of our bigger clients, Stratotech, which is a writing school, which is super exciting. So I'm going to just talk through some picture stuff with you guys, ways to improve your images, and also things to remember when it comes to social media images. A lot of this is going to be more of like a 101 type thing, not really like in general, pictures are awesome, but more like, here's how you do this. So I've created this slideshow to be something to send to you guys. It's going to be very informative. So right now, I'm going to commit like the cardinal sin of like, don't read what's on your presentation. But I put a ton of text on here because I want you guys to have that when I send this to you guys. So pictures worth 1,000 likes. Okay, so here's some of that stat stuff, so you can see just why it's so important to have images in your social media. So photos on Facebook receive 53% more likes than the average post, 104% more comments than the average post. Tweets with photos receive 35% more retweets. 60% of consumers are more likely to consider or contact a business if an image shows up in their search results. So this is something to think about with Google+. And then also just kind of a fun fact is that images without human faces, but like that have a human in them, do way better than other images. So I know that sounds weird. One example from real life is, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Beta Brand. It's like a men's clothing retailer. Anyways, they did kind of like their own little test to see which images performed best. They took 30 different photos of the same pair of pants just to see, and then did ads to see like which photo performed the best. And the one that actually performed the best was the picture that was like a crotch shot, essentially. It was like from here to here, and that picture actually had a 30% higher click-through rate and 20% higher conversion rate than any of the other images they chose.
Oh.
So when we're talking about humans but not their faces, it's like maybe, hands typing on a computer or just things like that. So it's a weird fact that is true.
Did they say why?
They don't say why. I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe like a face is too personal.
Or maybe it's like, instead of seeing somebody else in the pants, when their face isn't there, you say, you can visualize yourself like wearing those pants. Like, I can see myself wearing those pants because nobody else is actually wearing them, you know? You're not comparing yourself.
Exactly. So I think it's relatable enough, but not too, like, I can't see myself in there. So the first thing that we're going to kind of talk about is branding when it comes to your images. And what I mean is, like, putting your client into your image. So you're not just grabbing a old picture you found off the internet saying, like, this will do for my content. Like, it's really important to make that picture part of your brand, because the more that people see this type of image in their feed, they're going to start to associate it with your brand. If they're sharing that image across their social networks, people will see what brand it's from. It's just kind of a brand association thing. So it's really good for just getting more organic growth, getting more recognition across all of the social media platforms. So for this example I have, so like say you have an image that's just like rocking it on social media, like it's getting tons of shares all over the place. But if there's no way of really seeing where that image came from, ultimately, like, what is that doing for your client besides, like, giving them a number? But if their logo was on the corner of the picture, that's putting your client's logo across, like, say it's like 50 shares across 50 different people's Facebook pages, and so it's getting that brand name out there. So, a few ways you can kind of work on that is
We can talk about it after.
with, like, what I said with the logo thing, making sure that you include a logo on your image. I'm not saying you have to do it for every single image that you create, but ones that you think are going to do really well, or ones that really resonate with what your brand is trying to be, I think it's a great idea to include them. It's recommended to just put it in the right-hand corner on the bottom there, so that way it's not, too in your face, and also people's eyes tend to go to the left-hand side, so it's not like, oh, this is a branded image. It's just kind of subtly there. And you can do that pretty easily using a couple of tools on the internet. I have an example later on in this presentation to show how to do that. Another thing that's really important is keeping your fonts consistent. So choose no more than 3 fonts to use. If your brand has a specific font that they use, try to figure out what that is and make sure you're using that in your images. And then also, when creating like quote images or things like that, just like don't get too crazy. Be like, I want to use different fonts for every single image I make because it's not consistent across the board. If you're always using the same font, it's gonna look really nice, really clean, and be all about that brand. Which I did not mean to make that reference.
Sorry.
I thought it too. Next thing is with your brand colors. So obviously, a lot of our clients don't necessarily have brand colors because they're just not at that level. But if they do, try to make sure to include those colors in your images. So if you're going to use you're going to do some kind of quote image, then make sure you use the fonts or the colors that they typically use. So obviously with this one, they use purple, that very specific color purple. They're using it in their images. Just in about 50% of the graphics is fine. Once again, like you don't need to overdo it. Every single image needs to look exactly the same, but just so you start getting some more consistency. And same thing here with this consistent composition. So you can see those 2 pictures. It's like completely different setting. They're talking about something totally different, but you can tell it's from the same company from the way that they created it. So continuing to have that brand image. Okay, also another thing that's important with your images is getting creative. So I know when we're creating like tons of content calendars for the month, we have so many posts per calendar, it's easy to just be like, I just want to pull up the stock image and be like, I'm done with it. Like I'm talking about text in this picture or in this content, so I'm going to pull a picture of a deck. There we go. But I think it's really important to get a little bit more creative than that because pictures do so well because of their emotional reaction that people have from them. And so if you're able to really work on creating that emotional reaction, your photo is going to do better, your content is going to do better. So here's a few ways you can think about making your images a little bit more creative. So testimonials. A lot of us will do kind of a go-to like Testimonial Tuesday or something like that post, which is usually just pulling a quote from the client's website where someone said something really awesome about them, which is great because we do want to do things like that. But thinking about making it into an image rather than just putting a post out there is a great way to actually catch people's attention. And then obviously, like if this image gets shared, that's really awesome for the school. So it gives life to the quote, I guess you could say, and makes it a lot more powerful. Also, we do a lot of posts, like we love our fill in the blanks, we love our this or that, facts and things like that, they are great, I agree, which is why we do them. But if we were to go kind of just a little extra mile and turn it into an image instead of just a post, it catches people's eyes a lot more and just really resonates with them more. So, my course name is fill in the blank. Fun fact, butterflies do with their feet. If you do this or that, they're just putting 2 images next to each other and saying which picture do you like more, that's going to resonate a lot more with people than saying like this or that, sleeping or not sleeping. Sleeping, obviously. You can also tell a story with your images. So right now, in this image, I'm saying like I'm comparing what the life of a welder is like. So in an office, wearing flip flops, your boss gets mad at you. Wearing flip flops at welding, it's dangerous. And so it's just giving more life to just saying something like that. I have a couple other things that you do for telling a story. So if you're gonna do like a funny Friday, tell a joke, put the joke on an image instead of just putting it in your content. If there's an upcoming event or a sale, don't just say like, next Saturday we're having a huge sale. Like create it into an image so it actually speaks to people. And so just anything like that, new store openings, obviously new product lines, things like that. I think like the title of this says, a picture's worth 1,000 words, it says so much more than if you were just to put a paragraph on a post that no one's going to read because TLDR. Collages are another great thing. These are really good if you have e-commerce clients, but you don't have to be limited to that. If you obviously you don't have a lot of clothing clients. We wish we did because they're super fun. But you could do this for anything. Like if you have a pet goods store, you could put your dog, put any dog in the picture, surround it with items from the store, and it's telling that story. It's giving a visual representation of what you sell rather than just saying, like, we have a sale on leashes this weekend. So it just speaks to people a lot more. Okay. So we all know about PicMonkey, I'm assuming. And I love PicMonkey. I use it all the time. I think it's super user friendly, which is why I like using it a lot. But there's also a lot more free options available to us online. Also, not included in here, there's tons of apps that are super helpful too. So if you ever really wanted to like go outside of what's available to you, there's apps like crazy that can help you edit your images. As we all know, we're not going to. Okay. So I made little videos of me editing images. So I'm just going to go ahead and press play as I'm kind of just talking about pros and cons. So you can see what happens. So we all know PicMonkey lets you either edit pictures or make them yourselves. So you can always just upload. Yeah. So cute. So you can always just upload,
I can't handle my life right now.
Or create one from scratch. Text, filters, cropping, images. You can create collages, which are great. It's free. Royal features we know are extra, but that's fine. BeFunky.com is very similar to PicMonkey. So if you ever get I need to get out of PicMonkey, I'm so over it, you can go to BeFunky. It offers pretty much the same kind of layout and offerings, but there's a few differences, so that way, you have some options. He's just going to say some stuff. I wasn't sure how long to make these. So,
This is great.
You just observe my thinking process. But in this video, towards the end, you'll see how to add a logo. So does anyone in here not know how to add a logo to an image? No? You won't go?
Well,
maybe?
I've added one, but it was like you had to. It depended on what kind of background
Yeah.
it was on. I think we had this conversation.
Yeah,
actually.
so I'm adding our geodigital image right here. If you do the darken, like we figured out, sometimes it blends seamlessly into the background, sometimes it doesn't. So
The other thing you can do there, because our creative department is very cooperative, or design department, when the client has supplied their logo in a PSD or AI format, if you send it over to them, they'll break it out in a transparent background for you. Or a white background or a black background or whatever you want. And that way you've got choices of all three, and they'll make them any size you want them also. So,
and that would be really cool. And then
Yeah.
you could use it for
Yeah.
any picture. Cool. Thanks.
Side note, that would have been really cute to leave blank the speech bubble and just say like caption this.
Right.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing this for
No. I'm just saying like if we're like just
but
yelling ideas.
yes. Okay, so Canva is another one that's super easy to use. That's actually one of my favorite ones, just because I am not a design major. I'm an English major, which is where I'm writing social content. So Canva kind of does a lot of the work for you in terms of making things look really pretty. They have tons of templates that you can choose from. I'll go ahead and start playing this so you can get a better idea. But they have tons of templates you can choose from where you can basically just kind of write over. So like I can choose any one of these things on the side and then just write over it. And it's like, it feels like cheating to me because of how easy it is, but then the image looks super pretty. So I can just type over this, a funny quote goes here, and then I can change the background if I want. I can move it around, but it just gives you a template to start from, which is super nice. You can create collages of several photos. You can make sure it's sized properly, so it's starting, 1200 by 900. A lot of times I'm using this for Twitter, so I'm usually just pulling from one of the images that are already there. One thing I also like a lot about this is that when you're moving the text within the image, little little lines will show up to help you see if it's centered, which is super nice because I'm terrible on that. They also have photos you can choose from. So like they have these photos that you can just edit from there, and it's free. You don't have to pay for these pictures. A lot of them are not free, but they have some offerings. So you know you can always choose from there. You can see what I'm doing. They have charts. They have all these things that you can choose from. So I would say play around in it. One thing I really like about them is they offer a design school, which is just a bunch of little mini tutorials that help you figure out how to get started in this platform. So it's really easy. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna let that finish though. Polyvore is one I like. Screencast-O-Matic is just how I record all these things. But Polyvore is something I really like live, especially like I said before with our e-commerce clients, being able to show the products we offer in a way that's more than just like, here's a chair we have. So here I'm taking an example from Target, like this beautiful table. You just have to install the plugin, the Polyvore plugin, go to the page with the product and hit that plugin. Then you can add it in here like I'm doing, and it adds to like your Polyvore images. So I'm going to my personal Polyvore. I created that set there with the dress. That's all Boss Cause items. So you know, it's just a great way to display different products. And you can see here, just throw them on there. It's super easy. And the best thing about it is that if you share this image and people click on it and go to the actual image, you can have links to each item within it. So really nice for our clients if they are trying to sell stuff online.
Can you adjust backgrounds and stuff on that, or is
Yes.
it the case? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So right here I'm doing a really simple image, but do you see how they have like fashion home collections, things like that?
Mhm.
You can kind of play around in those areas. You can add text within Polyvore. You can add backgrounds within Polyvore. And you know, you can use other people's stuff that they've uploaded too. So, you know, if you wanted to go outside of your offerings, well, this is my future bedroom.
We're down to that cat land.
That's a box. But yeah, and I mean, and you can tag it too, so it's just extra branding for your clients, which is always great. So play around in there; it's pretty easy. I think it's really fun, and I wish I could use it for my clients more often. This Recite is great for quote images. It's like the easiest thing you could ever do. Literally, just go to the site, you type in your quotes, and then. Is that? No.
I'm loving the typing noises.
I did not know that. And then here you just can choose, you know, which one you think is nice.
Wow.
It's limited, you know, so there's only so many to choose from, but it does make creating a quote super easy. I chose which one.
I thought you were just super.
I haven't used this yet.
You haven't? I thought I saw one with the. So does it have the logo on the bottom?
It does. So I'm just crop that out.
Crop that
Or if you
out.
open it in Paint, you can erase
Maybe
it
you
out
should
and
cut
color
that
the
out.
background.
Color
Yeah.
information.
You know.
Yep.
You can make it look not like it's from there, but it makes it really easy, which I like.
Yeah, just pull the color and then.
Easily is one that you guys probably will not use very often, but it's available and it's out there. It's for creating infographics. So this is something that maybe like I would use as a community manager when I have that extra time and I wanted to do something really awesome for a client. But you can make it simple too. So they have all of these templates. I just moved down a little bit, but like tons of templates to choose from. And you just click on the template. You can type over these things. You can change the backgrounds. You can upload images. So if you ever wanted to do something fun, like which dog should I buy from this pet store? And you can go down, like, do you like furry dogs? No, okay. You know, you can create something. Yeah, you can create something.
Are you wearing pants?
Something
Yes.
like that. Yeah, I did. Should you sleep in tomorrow or today? Which
You love
I'm talking
sleep?
about sleeping a lot in this. But I love it. all of these things that I've been showing you guys are free. Some of them do require you to sign up, but you can just sign up with your work email, so that would be the deal.
This is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super simple. And it's really nice. It just takes a lot of the work out of designing, which obviously, like, we don't have Photoshop. We don't even have the ability to create these things, so. And then, here you'll see, like, you can add these animal images
So fun.
if you want to. I chose not to. You can use the background if you want. So you just click and then you drag it in. And there you go. You just change the background color, so you can change it to your brand's coloring.
Can you like add images that you
Yeah.
can? Oh,
Let's see if you
You were too quick.
I know.
Right now. Bam.
Wow.
And then it's branded, which is awesome. So they have lots of different templates to choose from, which makes it really easy. Oh, I'm copying it. That's disgusting.
You're fine.
Okay. Social image resizer tool. So this one, you guys can use if you want. We have Pixlr that we use a lot. So when we're trying to resize things, this is just nice because it makes things a little less. You don't really have to think as much, I guess, if that makes sense, which sounds silly. So basically, you upload your image, and then you have options. So choose a size, you click on it, and it gives you all of their pre-made sizes. So you can see, if it's a Facebook cover photo, that's the dimensions for it, and then you just click done editing when you're done, and it's super easy to see, what it's going to look like, and then you don't have to Google it. So it's a Facebook profile picture. So here's that. Okay. Social. Our favorite thing, stock lady.
I found her too.
She's literally everywhere, which doesn't make any sense. But ThinkStock can be very frustrating sometimes. I think we all have had time when we're just like, this looks like a ThinkStock image, and we even have clients say like, can you use not stock photos? We want to say, can you provide us with stuff? But they don't always do that. So we have Creative Commons, but here's a couple of other sites that you can check out that I kind of perused and just saw that they have really nice images. You can use them however you'd like to. They are all free, no registration required for the bottom two. And I'm not saying that you're going to go way outside the lines of these stock type photos, but these two on the bottom here are actually really nice. They look like professionally done photos because they are, and they look more real, I guess you could say. So I would say check those out. Also, if you ever just Google like free stock images or something along those lines, you'll find a lot of blogs that have put together a more thorough list than just 3 that you can check out. So I didn't want to include all of them. These are the ones that I kind of thought were like top 3 as far as the types of images that I think are nice. And so you can check those out, and yeah, definitely check out the other sites available because there's a lot. Surprisingly. So you guys all got your social media image checklist. So when using an image, I don't want to say just use an image because you're used to using an image, or just use an image because you know it's going to perform better. I want you guys to actually think about it. So, is it right for your followers on this specific platform? We know our audiences. We know that if we're targeting like a senior community, we say, like, how do you like to spend your weekend? We're not going to put an image of like young people in the club dancing because it's not right. It does not fit that audience. So think about that when you're choosing your images.
Oh, we're not done.
Is the image optimized for the specific platform?
You have 5 minutes, Dee.
Okay. So if it's optimized for the specific platform, so that means resizing your images. I know it's an extra step and it's really annoying, but resizing your images for each platform you're using. So Facebook's different from Twitter, it's different from Google Plus. The optimal image size is different for all across the super annoying, but also you want it to perform better. That's what you gotta do. Will this image cause an emotional reaction? If it's literally just a boring stock image, no, it's not gonna have any reaction. People won't respond to it. So by putting more effort in, by adding codes, by adding filters, by trying to do something to make it look nicer, you're gonna draw more of an emotional response. It's gonna be more valuable to your client. Does this image fit your branding? That kind of goes along with what we were talking about earlier. If it's just a really generic image that doesn't really fit with your brand, it's not going to be great for your brand's image. So really think about doing things like the specific font colors, composition, and all of that. And then, does this image look natural? Are people going to say that's a stock image and I don't care? So, do what you can. Take the extra effort to really search for an image that's going to look nice and match because you want to get your calendar. Okay, questions. So, what would you guys say is most difficult for you when it comes to social media?
Well, definitely it's looking for a picture.
Yeah.
That's the hardest. I mean, one is like perfect.
Yeah, and are you usually just looking through stock?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I would say Creative Commons does offer a lot more pictures. Having to cite the source is annoying, but one thing I like to do is just to very tiny add some text onto the image, like in the corner that says image via Flickr user whatever. So that way it's it's cited properly, but it's not as obvious that it came from somewhere else. So they do have a lot more options as far as more natural looking images and more available. And do you guys have any image hacks that you think are particularly useful? Any tools you use or something I am missing in PicMonkey that's awesome that I've never found?
I think it's important to remember those themes that you were looking at, like celebrate and Santa, and to not just use them when it's Santa time, because sometimes you can, one time I needed to make a blushing toilet, which I know sounds really weird, but I was making a meme for John C. Flood, and I went and I used the Santa cheeks and some other this other thing. So it's don't think outside of the box even when it comes to those themes. It may say celebrate, but there's a top hat. It could also be New Year's, or it could be a Dapper Day or something. You can use them for more than just what PicMonkey is categorizing them as.
And I would say Canva also offers pictures to choose from, which is really nice because they're different from just the normal themes. They're a little bit more elegant again, I would say, and so they're really nice to choose from. And if you just change, I've used a Valentine's one, not during Valentine's Day, just by changing the colors up a little bit, which is nice. Do you guys feel like you learned something?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I apologize for the